future boy.
Alright, so this is Wes Anderson's latest film, The Grand Budapest Hotel, from this year, or earlier this year, 2014. It came out in like February, March. And it starts out not super confusing, but it's a little confusing. It's kind of a story within a story within a story. So we kind of see Jude Law is okay. First, just to frame it, we'll see like a girl. She's going to like a cemetery. She's at a headstone, and she has a book, and the book is about the Grand Budapest Hotel. And she's starting to read it, and then when she's reading it, it goes into Jude Law's character, who is the author. It's the author of that book when he's young, and he's talking about he used to work at the Grand Budapest Hotel, and he wrote the book from when he heard this story while he was working there. But basically, the whole movie, the whole story, is just this story that's in this book. Man, that's kind of weird. It's probably more confusing with me talking about it than it is portrayed in the movie, but mostly we're just following a character named M. Gustav. It's played by Ralph Fiennes. And this is in a made-up country, kind of think like the Austria, Belgium, Germany area. And it's in the early 30s, but it's a made-up country in the movie. And he works at the Grand Budapest Hotel. He's the concierge, and he takes care of everybody. Everybody knows him. He's, it's like a really important position at the time. And this is if you haven't seen a Wes Anderson movie, this is full of his visuals and flourishes, and everybody's moving, from left to right, and everybody's entering at the same time. It's all staged very dramatically in this grand hotel. And it's really nice and everything like that. And so it's really funny. It starts out really funny. He's Gustav is a bit of a womanizer, but the women that he goes for are usually elderly women, and one of the main women is in the story is Madame D, and she's played by Tilda Swinton, but she's done up with a ton of makeup and looks really old. She's like in her 90s. It's really funny to see. I see that at the beginning, and then Gustav starts training his a lobby boy, Zero is his name, and so he's kind of training him throughout the movie as well. He's kind of his sidekick, his companion. And the whole story kind of kicks off so that Madame D, that Gustav was in a relationship, she dies, and he goes to her estate, and he gets left a painting, Boy with Apple, and everybody's mad. All the family's like, who's this Gustav character that this painting was left to? It's supposed to be like some priceless piece of art. And he's in the back with Zero, and he's like, oh, that's me. And everybody's mad. The son is Dimitri. He's played by Adrian Brody. And they're all mad. And Gustav and Zero go up to the painting, and it's left to him, but they kind of steal it, which is questionable because it's left to him, but people kind of refuted whether or not it's supposed to be his. But they go and take the painting, and they get it, and they're off to the races. And this kind of sets up this whole adventure chase sequence. That's kind of what happens. And so there's so many characters in this movie. There's so much that happens. We see actually when Gustav and Zero are going to the will reading for Madame D, he runs into a character played by Edward Norton, Henkels. He's like the leader of this army. They look like pre-World War II, or like a preamble to the Nazis. Slowly, we start to see kind of like Nazi SS symbolism and stuff like that. But anyways, he runs into this Edward Norton's character, Henkels, and he knows him from when he was a boy at the Grand Budapest Hotel, and he lets him go, and because they're kind of being given a hard time by his soldiers, but he lets him go. But eventually he comes back into play because they start looking for him. A couple people start dying, and everybody thinks that it's Gustav or that he has something to do with it. But then there's also, two storylines going. There's one with Gustav and Zero running away with this painting, and then everybody's trying to find them, and then people start dying around them. And there's also Dimitri, the son, is looking for them, and they're probably more at fault for a lot of these mysterious deaths. Dimitri and Jopling. Jopling is played by Willem Dafoe. It's a very Willem Dafoe portrayal. He's very scary. He's a scary henchman. So that's all happening, and there's a part where Gustav gets sent to jail, and Zero's trying to help him break out with his girlfriend. Zero's girlfriend is Agatha. She's played by Saoirse Ronan. She's a really good actress. And in there, he runs into a couple characters. Harvey Keitel's in there. And I don't know, there's so many people. Let's see. I'll just kind of looking through the cast. Bill Murray pops up after a while. He's another concierge for a different hotel. Jason Schwartzman is in the movie, but he's the concierge at the Grand Budapest Hotel when Jude Law is like the kind of the caretaker of it. That kind of gets into the different timelines, as well as F. Murray Abraham. He plays a grown-up Zero, and he's actually the one telling the story to Jude Law about, him as a younger man with Gustav in the painting. So, Jeff Goldblum's also in the movie. He has a really good part too. Deputy Kovacs. He's a lawyer, and he's in charge of the will reading and the estate and everything like that. So he's kind of privy to everything that's going on with this stolen painting and who's the rightful owner to it and everything like that. So yeah, sounds kind of confusing. It is. There's a lot going on. It's I'll say without a doubt, this is probably the biggest world that Wes Anderson has created for any of his movies. It's bigger than Life Aquatic, and there's just so much more going on. And it is a really good, fun, like adventure movie. It's like there's a decent amount of action, but it's just more of an adventure with Gustav and Zero trying to escape this painting, and then this wrongful accusations and everything like that. It's really fun. It's just like a fun movie to watch. It's also hilarious because I don't remember there being much swearing or anything, cursing, and any other Wes Anderson movies, but there's a fair amount in this one. And almost any time that Ralph Fiennes swears, it's just hilarious because his character is so like refined, and he just seems like such like a upper class kind of person. But then he swears quite a bit, and every time he does it, it's just funny. It just made me laugh. There's great performances. I think Ralph Fiennes and the actor that plays Zero, they work together really well. I'll say his name is really quick. It's a new actor, Tony Revolori is the actor. Kind of like I don't know. He always introduces a new character. Seems like kind of like Moonrise Kingdom, his last movie. But yeah, lots going on. It's really fun. It's very, very Wes Anderson like. I would say it's in more of the Moonrise Kingdom and Life Aquatic, if you kind of combine those two. If you think about how like meticulous everything was staged, he kind of gets more and more kind of puts more attention to detail, seems like in every movie, especially with like Moonrise Kingdom was kind of the pinnacle of that with all of the visuals. This is kind of a continuation. But then there's such a bigger world that's being created at the same time too, so that kind of is like similar to Life Aquatic. But yeah, it's really good. If you're a fan of Wes Anderson's films, I don't see how you could not like this. And if you're maybe wary of his films, I think it's probably a good one to start out. It's very different. It kind of takes like that Moonrise Kingdom, instead of the romance between the two young characters, it takes that, they kind of have an adventure in that movie too, but this puts it on a different scale. Instead of just escaping this little island in Moonrise Kingdom, they take a whole adventure across a couple countries in this fake made-up country. And there's multiple characters, working with them instead of just the two alone. So yeah, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. It's definitely worth a watch if you like Wes Anderson or just like a good adventure movie. And it's even though there's swearing in it, and let's see real quick if it's rated R. It is rated R, but that's mostly just for the language, pretty much. So it's fun, definitely worth a watch. So I guess I'll stop it there, and for my sign off, I'll say, "Get your hands off my lobby boy."